Hello friends, my name is Scotty. In our today's video, we will discuss and analyze the second episode of such a project as an amazing digital circus. Just a few days ago, namely last Friday on the channel, Glitch was released a new episode of this project, in which we showed us the adventure of Pomni and her friends in the kingdom of Candy Canyon. I can't say that this episode was quite informative or plot, but it raises some important philosophical questions that we will explore together with you in this video, so to speak deep into the context of the plot and history of the circus. Subscribe and give us a like if you love Digital Circus and are looking forward to the new episode 3. And also write in the comments which character from the circus is your favorite and why I will be very interested to read. I'm not going to take too long, so here we go. So in today's video, we will discuss the main interesting moments of the second episode of the amazing Digital Circus. I will not focus on the analysis of the whole episode, because it is not full of any interesting and priority information that we will need in the discussion. However, we will discuss in more detail those moments that really reveal important themes of both the plot and the philosophy of this project. Let's finally get to the breakdown. The series begins with Pomni finding himself in his own nightmare, seeing images and echoes of the events that took place in the first episode. By the way, there was literally one night between the first two episodes. Pomni is very much focused on the theme that she is not needed in this world, and soon she will face what Kaufman has already experienced, namely dissipation. We will discuss this topic in more detail as we go along. After waking up from a nightmare, Pomni realizes that Ragatha has come to comfort her and tells her about a new adventure from Kane called Candy Smuggling Shambles. It's a new mission for fun, the gist of which is quite simple. The Candy Kingdom has stolen maple syrup that the heroes must return. After traveling to a new world, they find themselves with a princess who gives them everything they need to recover the treasure. After a couple of events, the heroes start chasing the jelly crocodiles who are the kidnappers of the maple syrup. There are a couple of funny and interesting moments in this chase scene. A very vivid reference to the pizza tower poses and Jax's strange behavior, which I would like to discuss a little later. Probably the most interesting and fascinating situation starts when Pomni and Gummy Goo fall under the textures of Candy Kingdom. By the way, the problem with the collision bug was hinted at the very beginning of the series when the protagonist jumped up because of a nightmare and fell on the cube, causing this effect. Initially appearing under textures, Gummy Goo is confronted with the models of the main characters of the kingdom, including his own. He doesn't understand what it all means or how this is even possible. His mind begins to conflict between logic and what he sees before his eyes. Around the same time, Pomni appears next to him and he begins to question her. And you know what's interesting about this situation? Yes, that Gummy Goo began to think about the value of his life and why he even exists if all his actions do not make sense. He's basically a simple NPC who was created just for the sake of the adventure. When the heroes leave this world, everything will cease to exist and his life will be over, in a sense. He begins to devalue himself because he doesn't understand what is worth doing anything for. These are the kinds of thoughts that people in real life face. They lose any desire to develop and just live because they don't see any sense in it. Gummy Goo literally personifies such a person. He is a reflection of all these thoughts and really faced with the dilemma of reality and making sense of himself as an individual. If everything is done at someone else's behest and you have no freedom of choice, what is the point of existence? What is the point of doing all this for? Luckily, Pomni finds common ground with him by sharing her thoughts on his situation. She wants to help him escape and find purpose in his life. Pomni literally becomes the personification of a way out of this situation for Gummy Goo. This may also play a role in the future. However, I think you get the point. I really like how the author was able to bring up such an important topic through such a prism of satire. I believe that in the next episodes, Pomni will reveal himself to us much more, helping other inhabitants of the digital world. Further on, the events of the episode, the heroes get out of the textures by taking advantage of the collision bug and then meet their friends and head to the princess. By the way, the series also introduces a monster named Fudge that Jax and the others encounter. There is no point in emphasizing on him, as he is absolutely unimportant to the plot. He has some role in the series, but it's so insignificant that it's just pointless to talk about him in the context of the amazing Digital Circus philosophy. So let's get back to the main events. Having accomplished their mission, all the heroes as well as Gummy Goo leave the Candy Kingdom, returning to the Digital Circus. What could possibly go wrong? But Kane notices Gummy Goo, who is in fact an ordinary NPC, simply destroys the poor crocodile. After all, he needs to keep in the digital circus only those inhabitants who came from the real world. If the heroes start bringing in NPCs from other worlds, Kane just starts to get confused and doesn't realize who is a real person and who is a regular artificial intelligence. Pomni got her dose of dismorality from this because she wanted to help Gummigoo and give him a new home. But in the end, all those desires and goals were literally destroyed. It may seem that Pomni's emotional state should have been very shaken by this, but it didn't. Her main fear was that all the inhabitants of the digital circus couldn't really sympathize with each other. She thought that once the dissipation caught up with her, no one would care at all. But something happened that she didn't expect. In fact, the main characters decided to hold a sort of wake for Kaufmo to memorialize him and not forget that they are all human. They are left alone in this cruel place, and humanity is certainly not something to be forgotten. Simple traditions and respect for each other create a kind of atmosphere that allowed Pomni to realize that she is not alone. If something happens to her, she will not be abandoned or left to die. Everyone will give her a helping hand and support her in her time of need. This is basically what Ragatha has been doing throughout the episode. This is where the episode ends, leaving us with our own reflections. It didn't really stand out with its plot twists or any very important and massive events, but it still has moments that you can really sit down and think about. The series raises a simple human philosophy about the meaning of life and the importance of keeping one's moral fiber. Just the situation with Gummigoo and Pomni's experiences has shown and revealed this idea very clearly, for which we can praise the authors. In fact, another interesting detail of the series is Jax's behavior. I'm more inclined to believe that his selfish tendency to create chaos is due to the fact that he is bored, but maybe there's something more to it, both for us and for the plot of the amazing digital circus itself. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown. Thank you all for watching. It's been Scotty on the line, as always. Please subscribe and like me. We'll hear from you soon. Good luck and stay healthy.